another Conversations on Awaz-e-Haqiqat, which translates to the voice of truth. I'm your host, Chris Malika, and depending on whichever part of the world you're listening to us from, today we are talking about anxiety. We are talking about schizophrenia, and I'm so honored to be speaking with someone who has experience on these issues, and I'm so honored to have on the show. So I have with me Heena Sharma, who's a mental health advisor and clinical psychologist, please pardon me, with over 2 years of experience. She specializes in supporting individuals managing schizophrenia, autism, and anxiety and more, providing tailored strategies to enhance well-being and their resilience. With a compassionate approach, Heena incorporates mindfulness techniques to help clients navigate challenges and achieve mental balance at the same time. On that note, Heena, thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and it's an honor to connect with you. Thank you so much.
It's my honor, Heena. Thank you for being on this podcast and thank you for agreeing to do this with me because these are such important topics and we don't address them as much as they need to be addressed in open conversations, right? Uh,
Yeah, correct.
First things first, Heena, to
Mhm.
our audience or some of us who may not understand exactly what these are, could you please explain anxiety and schizophrenia in very simple terms?
Yes, sure. Anxiety is a feeling of fear, dread, and uneasiness that can be a normal reaction to stress or perceived danger.
Hmm.
And if we talk about schizophrenia, so schizophrenia is a mental disorder characterized by disruptions in thought process or perceptions, emotional responsiveness, and social interactions as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. One question, Hina, I just wanted to know that is can schizophrenia be passed down from generations, or is it someone can just pick it up, whereas with no history of that being in the family?
Yes, if we can talk about genetics, so yes, these kind of issues are passed from genetics as well.
Right, right. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hina. So moving on is when I talk about anxiety, I've had a phase where I had anxiety. What are some of
Mhm.
the reasons an individual might develop anxiety or pick up on anxiety symptoms? And in your experience, is this an age specific issue?
So anxiety can develop due to a combination of genetic and environmental factors.
Okay.
So some risk factors includes personality, trauma, family history, physical health,
Hmm.
stress, substances use. So in that case, what we can say if we'll talk about personality, so being shy or withdrawal in new situations.
Yeah.
Okay, and if we'll talk about trauma, so experiencing abuse, trauma, or witnessing traumatic events in childhood or adulthood,
Hmm.
so that must be a reason. If we'll talk about family history, so having a biological relative with an anxiety order or other mental disorder, so that could be a issue. And if we'll talk about physical health, having a serious illness or health condition such as thyroid problems or PCOS, PCOD,
Hmm.
that must be a reason of anxiety.
Wow.
So, if we'll talk about stress and substances use, so in that, such as work stress or financial worries, or I can say family issues,
Hmm.
relationship issues, that must be a reason. And using or misusing, overusing of drugs or alcohol, that also increase the anxiety.
Right.
And the other thing, if we'll talk about the specific age, so anxiety is not age specific. Anyone can have anxiety because there are different types of anxiety disorders. It totally depends on the situation of the person.
Right.
If I can give you the example, okay. So it could be a separation of parents, death of loved ones, exam stress, career issue, work stress, family issues, family relations, financial issues. It depends on that.
Right.
And many more are there.
Of course. You know, you
Yeah.
mentioned about trauma, right? Often we have childhood trauma. That's either
Hmm.
we have experienced or that's been passed on to us, right? Um,
Right.
I always wanted to know this, that as an adult, for example, let's
Hmm.
say I have had some kind of childhood trauma.
Mhm.
When does an adult finally get to know, or what are the signs that an adult gets to know that, oh shit, I have unresolved childhood trauma within myself? How do you
So
determine that you have had trauma in your childhood?
yeah. So in that case, what happens actually in childhood, we are coming through a situation. We
Hmm.
got some trauma,
Hmm.
but we didn't realize
Yeah.
that we are in a trauma, right?
Hmm.
But in adulthood, what we how we can realize that something happened in front of us, similar to that with anyone else or with us as well.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
in that situation, we realize that this happened in my past as well. This happens with me in my past, so yes, and it is triggering me right now.
Hmm.
Because sometimes what happens is something happened in front of us with anyone else,
Hmm.
but it gives us stress.
Right. Right.
We are also getting a stress for that, which is not happened with us, right?
Hmm.
So at that point of time, people come to know that it was happened in my past, so that is why this was my trigger, and with this situation, I got triggered with my past trauma.
Right. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Yes. And also, just for our listeners, like when you mentioned that we get triggered, like by certain
Mhm.
things happening in what are those trigger symptoms? Like, do we get anxiety, or how do we know that we are even getting triggered?
In such cases, in some cases, now it is very difficult to understand because for normal people, like we are a psychologist, so we come to know. But for
Yeah.
normal people, so they always think that we are getting stressed, we are taking stress, we are uncomfortable. But anxiety is something when you start feeling anxiety, So in that case, there are some symptoms
Right.
like you will feel uneasy, uncomfortable in your own body, you will not eat anything, uh, this kind of things. Like if you are eating something, you are feeling like vomiting,
Yeah.
there is stomach ache, headache. So these are the things. So people, it is very difficult to understand for other people that they are dealing with the anxiety issue, the sleeping disorder.
Mm. Yeah. I
Yeah,
used to have
these are the.
difficulty breathing in that situation. That I used to be,
Yes,
I can't breathe.
yes,
I can't
this
breathe.
is.
Mm.
Yeah, this is also a reason for the anxiety. And if we'll talk about some people face BP issues,
Mm. Yeah.
low BP. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, thank you, Hina. But
Mhm.
you and I both know that anxiety is unfortunately getting more common, right?
Right.
A lot of people lower than our age, children, students have anxiety. They develop anxiety for a lot of reasons. Then
Hmm.
why is it such a stigma around anxiety? Why can't we have an open discussion? If my child is anxious, if I am an anxious parent, why do we have to keep quiet about it?
So in that case, see, as I told you, there are many reasons
Yes.
why there is a stigma and around anxiety
Mm.
and other mental health conditions, including
Mm.
stereotypes, media, lack of understanding,
Yeah.
personal belief, structural stigma. So if we'll talk about stereotypes, so people may have inaccurate or negative views about people with mental health conditions.
Yeah.
For example, some people may think that people with anxiety or unstable, lazy, or a danger to others. If we'll talk about media, so
Mm.
media representations of mental illness can contribute to stigma by portraying people with mental health condition as dangerous, criminal, or unable to live normal lives.
Mm.
So lack of understanding, people may not understand mental illness,
Yes.
which can lead to fear and discrimination.
Mm. True.
And if we'll talk about personal belief, so people may have negative attitudes or belief about mental illness,
Mm.
which can lead to prejudice and discriminations.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So people with social anxiety disorder may think their anxiety is just a part of their personality. They are afraid of shame, sometimes lack of awareness. People may not realize that help is available and they actually need help.
Hmm.
So
Before we move on, what exactly is social anxiety? Can you explain it for us?
yeah, so social anxiety is something like if we are standing in like if we are in front of few peoples,
Hmm.
so we feel uncomfortable. we won't be able to answer the questions of the peoples like who are standing in front of me, front of us, and we will not interact them. We'll avoid that situation. We'll avoid going in a social place.
Mm.
We'll avoid such kind of discussions with lots of people. So
Mm.
that is social anxiety. We
You
are
know,
afraid of talking with anyone. We just want our personal space,
mm,
the alone space. We love to be like that. So in that case, that there is a social anxiety.
right. Do
Yeah.
we have some other kinds of anxiety as well? In your experience, have you come across anything that can be categorized like the social anxiety disorder?
Yeah, there are so many kind of
Oh.
anxieties. Like if we can talk about it, as we discussed about social anxiety,
Mm.
right? Some people have anxiety with like taking a bath
Okay.
because they have hydrophobia, but they don't understand that they have hydrophobia.
Right.
Okay, so all anxiety depends on the situation,
Mm. Mm.
like from when they are facing that issue,
Mm.
childhood. If we talk about childhood, so what happens, like separation of parents, that is called another anxiety. So there are different kind of anxieties.
Okay. Wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know that, but thank you. Um, I want to kind of now move on to the other area of your expertise, which is schizophrenia, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
what are the some of the basic or the first symptoms someone would notice, or their family members around them would notice if someone has schizophrenia? And does anyone and everyone who has schizophrenia, does do all of them, do they need to take medication?
See, in schizophrenia, medication is required, but it depends on the stage, on which stage they are on of schizophrenia.
Okay.
If it is something normal, like people are getting aggressive or numb, see, first thing is this is dilemma. It's a myth. Like people thinks that person who is having schizophrenia would be aggressive. No.
Mm.
Sometimes people will act like they are a victim.
All right. Mm.
Okay, so they will act like a victim.
Mm.
So, in that case, there are few key signs that therapy could be really helpful for someone.
Mm.
If you are feeling constantly overwhelmed by emotions like anxiety, sadness, or anger, and it's affecting your daily life, it might be time to reach out for support. If you are going through a tough time, so in that case, if you're going through a tough time, tough life transitions, so maybe a breakup, a job loss,
Yeah.
or a big change, therapy can help process and cope with those challenges in healthy way.
Right.
If past trauma is still influencing your present,
Mm.
as I have discussed earlier,
Mm.
so therapy offers a space,
Mm.
safe space to work through those memories and emotions.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, because in therapies, we guide you, we teach people how to overcome with that situation, how to manage in that situation, in particular situation,
Mm. Mm.
how to behave like that on that situation.
Right.
So, strained relationship, whether with family, friends, or partner, or
Mm.
another area where therapy can make a big difference.
Mm.
And sometimes physical symptoms like chronic fatigue or trouble sleeping can be tied to mental health struggles. So, which therapy can address as well. In any of this resonates, remember that seeking therapy is a positive step
Yes.
toward mental health
Mm.
and well-being. So, if we'll talk about the medicines, so not in every case.
Mm.
See, medications are required in some cases
Mm.
which are very severe in schizophrenia. But
Mm.
in the early stage, medicines are not required. If
Mm.
we'll go with the therapies time by time, and we will follow the task, we will follow the things which our psychologists will teach
Yeah.
us. So, yes, we can come out from this schizophrenia, we can deal with that.
Right.
It get
Um,
resolved.
what does that extreme form of schizophrenia actually look like?
Extreme form, all right. So, if we'll talk about extreme forms, so people get aggressive.
Mm.
They'll start crying without any reason. In fact, in very like they will feel like this situation is very big,
Mm.
whether it is not,
Okay.
but they will create a things in their mind that this thing is going to happen, this thing is going to happen, and this is wrong, and everything is going wrong with us. So in that case, they will become aggressive sometime.
Mm.
Sometime they will start crying. Sometime they will make a like they'll take distance from people. So these are the things in very early stage.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, you mentioned about therapy, Hina, and thank you for saying that out loud, that going to therapy is a positive step.
Yes.
What are some of those signs you can see when you might say, okay, it is time for me to seek a therapist now?
Mm-hmm. As I discussed, if you are feeling sad, anxiety, anger, so at that time you have to go and check with the counselor that I'm and clarify them that I'm feeling this
Hmm.
on this situation I'm feeling like that, on that situation I'm feeling like that. If you'll clear these things, whatever the feelings are going inside you,
Hmm.
under you. So if you'll like clear that things to your counselor, then they will come to know then what's the issue.
Yeah.
Sometimes what happen is no, we are just sad and we think that we are going through the anxiety,
Hmm.
and sometimes it's anxiety, and we started thinking that it's schizophrenia because we are getting aggressive every time.
Hmm.
As I told you, in schizophrenia, not everyone will be the aggressive person.
Yes.
Some peoples will act like they are victims, whether they are not,
Hmm.
but still they will behave like they will become a kid in front of everyone. They'll start behaving like a kid for the attentions.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So that are the some symptoms for that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And if we are feeling like I'm sorry to interrupt you,
No, no.
but if okay, so if we are feeling like we are doing something unusual,
Hmm.
see, in therapy, why therapy is important? If you'll go to the therapist, no, so you'll come to know.
Hmm.
They will teach you how to judge yourself, how to focus on yourself.
Hmm.
Once you start doing that, once you start focusing on yourself, then it will become very easy for the people, for the person. Suppose I am feeling, I am a patient of schizophrenia,
Hmm.
and I'm seeking for the help of, and I had gone to the counselor or psychologist, and they teaches me how to focus on yourself. So
Hmm.
when I am trying to focus on myself, na, so I'll come to know that how I am standing, how I am talking, what is my tone, why people are reacting this, because I am using this tone. That is why they are getting aggressive on me, and I am getting aggressive too.
Hmm.
So they will come to know the reason, and if you know the reason why you are behaving like something unusual, so you will be able to sort it.
Yeah.
So yes, that is why counselor therapists are required.
Absolutely. Fair enough. Fair point, Hina. But
Yeah.
speaking of therapy, often the other side which we get to see is a lot of people say that they can't afford therapy, right? It's beyond
Mm-hmm.
their means or it's expensive. Therapy can be expensive. So let's say a student, they won't have enough
Mm-hmm.
to pay for the therapy session. So how are these cost models decided, and on what factors are these pricing structures based on?
So in that case, see, therapy cost and vary depending on a few factors,
Mm-hmm.
such as therapist experience
Yeah.
and areas of expertise.
Mm.
More experienced therapists or those with specific specialization may charge higher rates, but this often reflects the value and depth of care they provide.
Right.
The length of each session typically goes around 45 to 60 minutes minimum.
Mm.
If I'm taking sessions, so sometimes it goes for 70 minutes, 80 minutes as well, because we
Right.
can't stop therapy in between.
Yes. Yes.
We can't stop that session because, oh no, 60 minutes are
You're done.
like
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
and like they have paid me for 60 minutes, so I have to wrap it up. No, that is not important, because if we are into a something which is related to a mind, So we have to come to the conclusion in every session.
Mm.
So how often you come in for session, you can also impact pricing. Some therapists may offer sliding scales fees based on your financial situation to make therapy more accessible. My prices are designed to be affordable because I believe everyone deserves access to mental health support.
Right.
Sometimes, like if I'm charging 999 for a session, but if a student comes,
Mm.
I charge less. I ask them how much you can pay conveniently because I
Right.
am giving you a time. See, it's a human mentality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If we are giving a time now, so we expect that we should earn something
Yes, true, true.
to focus on that, right? So I just ask them simply what amount you are comfortable. So
Mm.
we just sort it out in
Wow.
that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So
Right.
it's important to have an open conversation about pricing upfront. Some of patients, what they can do is they don't even discuss. If they are not able to afford that amount, they should discuss with the counselor. See, counselors also a human being, and if they are helping in your mental health, so trust me, they will help you in the pricing as well.
Mm. Mm. And I think in the end, counselors also have to put food on their table. So it's fair
Yes,
that
exactly.
you have a convenient pricing structure. And as you mentioned, have a very clear, open conversation with your counselor or therapist. Nobody's going to bite you for saying that you're going through a tough time.
In starting, I have done free sessions as well. And in fact, right now as well, I'm doing some free sessions because I can understand they are coming to
Yeah.
that family
Yeah.
where they can't afford it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't even afford to pay 300 or 200 for per session because they are students, they are studying in 10th or 12th.
Oh.
So that must be a reason. So the I can understand that situation, but everyone should have to be very clear with their
Yeah.
counselors, na?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of counselors also get free sessions during COVID because that time mental health was just off the roof. So thank you to all of you for what you've done for us because without your support, I think most of us would have just literally have lost our sanity. So thank you. Thank you, Hina.
It's my
Um,
pleasure.
one last question is, you deal with such serious issues, right? Anxiety, schizophrenia. These are heavy terms. On
Mm-hmm.
a difficult day, Hina, as you said, you are a human being. How do you take care of your mental health?
Sometimes it becomes very difficult for me
Mm,
because we are dealing at least 9 to 10 people every day.
right.
Some sessions go very smoothly,
Mm,
but in some cases, I really feel so tired, the anxiety type of thing. In that case, I just go and have some cup of tea. I'll get ready very, charmingly. I'll get ready and I go somewhere out for a coffee, for
yeah.
a dinner, just to spend my time and divert my mind.
Mm,
I start watching TV and the cartoons or channels, or I can say I start cooking. I start listening music, dancing as well.
right.
So I just cope up with the things like that.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
I I think I don't know, post-COVID, maybe we are getting more tired than before. I don't know what's happening, but after like our 8 hours of work, the brain just gets mentally exhausted. You
Yeah,
don't
because
want to do
see,
any.
if we are doing if we are working in a corporate, so
Hmm,
we are doing a 9 to 6 wala job.
yeah.
So in that case, we have particular things, we have particular work to do,
Hmm,
which we know that daily we have to go to the office and do this, and I'll come back to my home.
yeah.
But in this therapies and counseling sessions, what happened is every time you will come to know that this person is dealing with a problem and this problem is again a big problem, and they literally cries in front of you,
Hmm,
right? And they like explain each and everything from their past. After listening to all those things, no, you also start getting panic. You also think, sir, there are so many problems in people's life, how can I help them? Because we are a counselor and we are doing that work, no? So it becomes stress for us as well sometimes to figure out how to start and where to start.
yes, yes. And also, I think probably where to stop and detach yourself from that room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes I really feel like that if I'm taking session, after that session, if there is another session which is aligned, so I just request them ki, give me a 15 minutes or 20 minutes
Yes.
time, and after that we will start. I just go in the balcony, take a cup of tea. I just drink that tea and just watch
Yeah.
people are going here and there, the cars are going there. So after that, when once I start feeling relaxed, then I take next session.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes time to get relaxed.
Yeah. Because it's I think it's a burnout. You are burning out as well from continuous
Yeah.
conversations and all that. You know what? I know this is not a one-off conversation. We need to be having these regular conversations to spread more awareness around this shame.
Yes, sure.
But just
Hmm.
mindful of time tonight, what would be your message to our listeners, Hina? And where can we find you on social media?
All right. So my message to all the listeners, remember that mental health is just as important physical health.
Yes.
It's okay to seek help when you are struggling, and reaching out to a therapist can be the first step towards healing and growth. So you deserve to live a life filled with peace, balance, emotional well-being.
Hmm.
So don't hesitate to invest yourself. Your mental health is worth it. And if you guys wanna search me, so my Insta handle is psychologist underscore Sharma 9.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Hina, for giving me 35 minutes of your busy schedule.
Mhm.
This was very,
It's
very
my pleasure.
no,
And my last message is for Awaz-e-Haqiqat as well.
thank you.
So I really thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It was such a pleasure chatting with you and sharing insight on mental health.
Absolutely.
I'll truly appreciate the opportunity to connect with you.
It's an honor
And
for me. It's an honor for me because what you guys are doing for us, we have
Mhm.
no words. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
literally.
And I'm looking forward to staying in touch, and I hope we can collaborate again in the future
Of
soon.
course. And to my
Yeah.
listeners, the conversation could have been sensitive because we have spoken about anxiety, schizophrenia. So if at any point of the conversation, if you feel that you're getting probably triggered, or please step out and do what you want to do to keep your mental sanity. And if you've heard us for the first time, I really hope that you've had a lot to take away from Heena's expertise and wisdom. As she very rightly mentioned, that seeking therapy is not shameful. Please don't associate unnecessary shame and stigma with seeking therapy. It is the right thing to do for your mental health. And mental health is as important as your physical health. And if you've heard me for a while, I hope that you like the content that I put on the table. If you've got any thoughts or feedback for me, please write to me at awaze-haqiqat@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm there as Awaz-e-Haqiqat as well. I would love to read your comments and thoughts. On that note, thank you so much, Hina. As you said, would love to collaborate again on these important issues. Have a
Yeah,
great day.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.